Hello, hello, beautiful earth angels. Happy. Welcome. Just pressing go live on Instagram. There we go. Okay, just testing the mic, testing. All right, we're good to go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Earth Angels Unite, podcast 160. The gem is hidden inside the pain. Pain is not the end of the story. And from the angelic perspective, pain is never meaningless. Hidden underneath every painful situation is a gem, a precious, rare, and transformative wisdom your soul is inviting you to receive through the alchemy formula: invitation plus devotion plus intention plus the relax, release, receive equals alchemy. You begin transforming pain, something heavy, heartbreaking, overwhelming, into compassion, consciousness, healing, and spiritual gold. And it is an honor to be here with you and share my medicine in this way. My intention with these podcasts is to create a space of transformation, that you come one person and you leave transformed. So really setting the intention that whether you're here live or connecting with the replay, that this is your time to fill your cup. This is your time to receive from your angels: love, healing, downloads, messages, medicine. And so for those of you who are new to me, my name is Jill Kempner, and I'm known as the pain relief expert. I'm an angel coach, alchemist, and author of Receiving from Your Angels, 4 practices to heal your pain with angel love. And this is the medicine, right? I see my book as medicine. I see the practices in my book as medicine, and I'm here talking about it. Now, the gems that we're going to be talking about today is a little bit of an up level from what I first communicated in my book. But I think today you're going to understand the gems on a deeper level. That's my intention. And so I'm here helping, right, as an angel coach, as an alchemist, as an author, as a pain relief expert. My mission is to help, to lead, to serve highly sensitive, highly intuitive souls to transform your pain into peace and become calm, clear, and confident with angel love and relaxation. This is my passion, my mission, my medicine, and I literally live and breathe this. And so it's an honor to be here with you. Welcome. Say hi if you're here, either in person, hey, Robert, or later through the replay. Okay, so the angels were saying something else. So as an angel coach, I'm committed to awakening the calm, clear, confident you. And I am confident that whatever pain you're experiencing, whether it's physical or emotional, your angels know how to heal it. I'm also confident that I have the messages, the medicine, and the modalities to help you to access that answer. So whether you say yes to a group program or coaching with me one-on-one, I'm empowering you. I'm giving you tools and support to alchemize your pain into peace. I'm giving you tools and support to receive the gems, which is what we're talking about today. So let's dive in. Just seeing if there's anything else. So yeah, happy Tuesday, Tender Tuesday. Gosh, we had that powerful new moons. We just ended that beautiful new moon cycle. And there's been this energy of reset, refreshment, renewal. Okay, so let's talk about the gem hidden inside the pain. So a gem is defined, and what I'm going to do is take the gem, the definition of gem, and break it down and share a personal story connected with it. So a gem is defined as a highly prized person, object, or place that is considered perfect, rare, or excellent. So from the angelic perspective, perfect doesn't mean flawless. Perfect means pristine, pure, and precious. So the gem is the purified wisdom hidden inside your pain. So when pain first happens, it can feel muddy, rough, heartbreaking, and confusing. But the alchemy formula, invitation plus devotion plus intention plus, I like to say R to the third, which is relax, release, receive. The pain begins to soften and clarify and, right, emerge, right? That preciousness begins to be revealed. Oh, I love that, angels. And eventually, what once felt heavy reveals something precious. So a truth, a lesson, a deeper compassion, a greater level of consciousness, a wisdom, a beautiful wisdom your soul could only access through the initiation itself. That's the gem. And understand, when I say initiation, I mean a challenging, hard, or difficult situation. A lot of times there's trauma with us highly sensitive, highly intuitive souls that takes you from one level of consciousness to another. That's what I mean. That's my soul coach's definition of an initiation. And it's always resonated with me. And something else she said is we're always, as healers, earth angels, empaths, cycle breakers, we're always going through an initiation. And once I accepted that and realized that, there was something that relaxed inside of me, knowing that this was part of my mission. These multiple initiations. So let me know if that resonates. Say hi if you're here. So one of the pieces of lead that I was carrying around for years was the story that the dash, and what I mean by the dash is the time between my mom's cancer diagnosis and death, which for her was only a year. The story that was the hardest, most horrible, most hellish year of my life. Right? And honestly, it was hard. It was hard because she was so young. It was hard because she had just retired after 30 years of nursing and never got to enjoy her retirement. She literally retired at the end of April and got diagnosed at the end of June. And she was sick that whole time too, not knowing what was going on. It was hard because she was in excruciating pain. The particular type of cancer she has called cholangiocarcinoma. It was bile duct cancer, very specific. I would say rare. They said it was a rare cancer. It was hard because I was going to lose my mom. It was hard because the diagnosis carried so much fear, grief, and helplessness. And I carried all of that heaviness around in my gut, in my heart, in my shoulders for years. Until the alchemy formula came along. Now, let me slow that down just a little bit. Of course, I was using the tools. Of course, I was using the practices in my book. Timeline. I just finished editing my book when my mom got sick. So it was actually published while she was still alive, while I was still caregiving for her. And slowly through the process, right? Invitation, inviting the angels and feeling their calm, devotion, right? Being devoted to that connection, to receiving, to staying in alignment through the fear, through the grief, through the stress, right? Intention setting and intention and staying committed to it no matter what. letting that intention be a golden path forward. And of course, the relax, release, receive, something began to shift. So I applied that alchemy formula to the hard, right? And to all the hard I was carrying. I was calling it lead. And the hard, the heartbreaking, and the devastating began transforming into something sacred, into something transformative. So I took the hard and turned it into transformative with the alchemy formula. Not because the experience suddenly became easy, right? But because I committed and began slowing down physically and emotionally, relaxing, simplifying the story, releasing the unnecessary, softening and becoming open, receptive, tender, and allowing myself to receive the gem inside of that pain, inside of the hard. And when I focused on the gem instead of all of the suffering, I realized how much I had transformed. Honestly, I was a completely different person from the time I started caregiving my mom to the time she died. Right? More tender, more compassionate, more loving, more open, more spiritual. Right? Having my mom on the other side. You know, I grew, I softened, I deepened spiritually. I learned how to stay present with pain instead of running from it. And I learned how to hold myself and others with greater tenderness and love. Like, what a gem, right? What a gem. So, and that's the gem, right? The purified wisdom hidden underneath the pain. And here's the thing, your soul, your angels, that's what we're here for, right? We're here for the gems. We're here to glow from the inside out. So, a gem is a highly prized object considered rare, right? So we talked about the perfect, right? The precious. Now the rare. So from the angelic perspective, rare means unique, one of a kind, priceless. Which I'm hearing this message from the angels. That's you. You're unique. You're one of a kind. You are priceless. So your gem is priceless to your soul's evolution because no one else has your exact lessons, experiences, perspective, and medicine. One of my favorite quotes from my soul coach, who, I just love her so much, Lisa Espinosa. She wrote a book and it's amazing. It's called Answering Your Inner Calling. And she has 3 practices to like hearing your soul and connecting with your soul. And it's been absolutely priceless and valuable offering in my journey. And she said, after she wrote the book, she had a download. No one else has your soul medicine. And it didn't come through till she wrote the entire book. And I know she had a part that was like, why was that not in my book? And she gave me courage to write my book, finish my book. She was my coach during that time because it's a living document. It keeps growing. Like what I'm talking about here, the gems of your journey, that's not in my book, right? I call that a lesson. So now we're evolving the lesson into a gem. So let me know if that resonates. All right. So, right? No one else has your soul's medicine. And that's true. No one else has your exact faceted gem. And I was like, ooh, when the angel said that, I was like, oh, I love it. So the gem hidden underneath the layers of stress, trauma, grief, and pain is unique to your soul's journey and mission. It's part of what allows you to grow, evolve, heal, and eventually help others through your wisdom, compassion, and consciousness. So that's why your pain is not meaningless. There's something rare and sacred hidden inside of it. And doesn't that make you feel good? It's like, take heart, right? First of all, your angels know how to heal your pain. Second of all, there's a gem inside of it. So the hellish, for me, right, the dash, hard, hellish, and horrible. This year, I committed to alchemizing that. For my own personal healing and for the healing that I'm here to provide and support others in. And what was hellish about my mom's experience was the suffering, right? The treatments, the pain, the fevers, the drains, her fear of dying, her sadness about unfinished dreams and future moments she would miss. So for years, that suffering was the only thing I could see. But through the alchemy formula, I slowly released the regret, the suffering, the pain, and softened into a deeper perspective. I began focusing, and this was at her 3-year anniversary, so last July. I realized how much I was carrying, and, I was buffering, I was numbing, still, and just, wanting to get to a different place with the grief, a different place with how I was looking at everything. And I realized I was carrying around this massive regret and almost like this torch to her suffering. Say hi if you're here. Welcome. And I prayed, I prayed and I prayed hard and I said, please, angels, how can I see this differently? I want her soul to ascend. I want her soul to be released from the suffering. I want to be released from the suffering. And it was like such a simple thing, but I realized that I wasn't doing this. And the simple thing that the angel said was to focus on everything that's going right. Focus on everything that went right in her life. Every life she touched, every person she loved, every lesson she taught, every lesson she taught me, every memory we created. Hello, Tobias. Namaste. And that was the rare gem hidden inside the pain. The sacredness of her life was always greater than the suffering surrounding her death. And so I was able to move from hellish to sacred with the alchemy formula, right? Inviting the angels, devoting to that connection, setting my intention to get the gem, and then relaxing into that gem, relaxing, releasing the suffering, releasing the heaviness. Okay, Tobias, ask your question and I'll try to get to it by the end, love. Thank you. And so a gem is defined as a highly prized object considered excellent, right? So precious, perfect, rare, and excellent, or precious, rare, and excellent. We're talking about this. So you really start to integrate what the angel's saying. It's like, it's all about the gem. So when you understand in the definition of a gem from these multiple viewpoints, you can start to integrate your pain into peace, alchemize your pain into peace. That's my mission. Okay. So the excellent, right? From the angelic perspective, excellent means exceptional, extraordinary, enthusiasm filled, and joy led. So, through the alchemy formula, invitation plus devotion plus intention plus relax, release, receive, you begin melting the layers of heaviness, trauma, fear, legacy burdens, and emotional pain that keep you disconnected from your soul's true essence. So, my mission, remember in the beginning, I said, is to awaken the calm, clear, confident you, because that's the true you. That's the soul you. And underneath those layers of pain is your soul's excellence, your soul's extraordinary healing abilities, your soul's enthusiasm for growth, for your growth and awakening, your soul's joy in fulfilling its mission. This morning, when I was doing yoga, which is a personal practice of mine, do I make yoga or something like this too? That's a good question. I do yoga and I am a teacher, but I haven't been teaching yoga for several years. Really is about like what a gift it is to fulfill your soul's mission. And I'm so grateful for each of you that I get to do this every day. So, one of your soul's missions is to transform that pain into peace and discover the gem hidden at the center of the boulder of your pain. That's alchemy. Right? Because you could walk around with these imprints in your field, with the old story, with the old programming, with the old conditioning. I could continue to right now today walk around feeling suffering, regret, and grief for my mom and what she went through. And I'm not saying I don't ever experience that, because I am human and I do dip back into that. But overall, it's shifted for me. And so then I'm lighter and then you're lighter, right? Because my job is to help you glow from the inside out. Okay, so the alchemy of your pain is a gem, the rare, precious, purified, exceptional wisdom hidden inside the initiation itself. So helping my mom, the dash from diagnosis to death, was an initiation, was a hard, difficult, challenging experience that took me from one level of consciousness to the next. So what's your initiation? Right? Scan over your life and think about all the initiations you've been through and whether or not you have a gem from it. If you are still feeling, if you're cringing, I did a whole podcast, I think, on this. If you're cringing, if you're wishing it never happened, if you're hiding, numbing, buffering, escaping, it's not alchemized yet. And that's why people hire me, to alchemize that pain into peace, right? To take it from lead to gold. Thank you for that reminder, angels. And when you receive that gem, you don't just heal yourself, you help end the cycle. So understand that getting the gem, receiving the gem, alchemizing the pain into a gem is not only your sacred mission, but it is part of ending the cycle. Last year, I did a podcast about the 4 cycles that earth angels are breaking: pain, lack, trauma, and codependency. And so honestly, so from the angelic perspective, excellent means exceptional, extraordinary, healing, honorable. And honestly, this was the hardest gem for me to receive, because there were so many things about my mom's cancer journey that felt horrible. Watching my mother slowly die in front of me was horrible. Helping care for her with really intense medications and treatments felt horrible. The type of cancer she had was non-resectable, which meant it couldn't be removed surgically and required extremely aggressive chemotherapy. The treatments were brutal. The pain was brutal. She almost died multiple times. She almost died from 2 failed ERCP procedures, which was putting a stent inside the body. Then she needed biliary drains that went outside of her body where the bile was released. She needed blood and platelet transfusions because she had lupus, pre-existing condition of lupus. There were moments where the pain itself felt unbearable. And there was even a time that she almost died from a medication overdose. And I talked about that on Friday a little bit more. And if you only look at those experiences through the lens of the ego, it's very difficult not to see them all as horrible. And that was probably the hardest part for me to transform. But through the alchemy formula, I slowly began shifting from horrible to honorable. Not by denying the suffering or pretending it was easy, or by spiritually bypassing the grief, the pain, but by releasing the judgment, the shame, the fixation on the suffering as the only truth. So, I prayed for the light, for the gift, for the medicine, for the gem, and eventually something healing emerged. I began to see the courage, my devotion to helping her, my love, her love, the tenderness, the sacredness of caring for someone at the end of their life. The way my heart cracked open even deeper in compassion and service. That was the excellent gem hidden inside the pain. Not perfection, but the extraordinary healing and consciousness that emerged through that initiation itself. I'm sorry, Tobias Levy. I'm not going to do yoga here. Why don't you email me directly, okay? And we'll talk about that. Okay, so I'm just pausing for a minute because that was a lot. There was a lot that I shared, and I'm just tuning in. I want to pull a card for you. I just want to slow it down for a minute. I'm looking at my decks and seeing which one I'm going to work with today. Okay. I'm just listening for a second. Beautiful. So, if you're ready to stop carrying around the lead and turn it into spiritual gold, now is the time. There's no better time than the present to have an angelic pain relief consult. So I have a free consult. And this is the best way that I can help you. Get clear on your path forward, on your roadmap to relief. So this is a 1-hour conversation, 1 hour or less conversation over Zoom, where I'm listening to you and your angels. And I'm showing up just fully present because I'm going to meet you where you're at. This is what the angels do, right? They meet you where you're at. They love you unconditionally. And they want you to have relief. They want you to have that gem. And I'm going to share what your angels are saying about your pain, which is a moment of relief. And then together, you and I are going to create your roadmap to relief. So you know by the end of that consult, that conversation, you know your next right step to start bringing relief, pain relief, and a step closer to that gem. And if we're a good fit, I'll share the details of my coaching programs with you. I do have multiple ways to work with me. I have group classes and offerings, and then I have a retreat that is filled with spiritual tools to support your journey. And then I have a 3-month coaching and a 6-month coaching program right now. So multiple ways to connect with me and my energy and my medicine. And if you're not able to make a financial investment right now, I understand there's so many ways to stay connected to me and my energy and my medicine through this podcast, through social media, through my newsletter, through my free meditations on Spotify. And then, of course, my book, right? Can always, my goal is that you could actually heal just reading this book for $20, right? On Amazon. Okay, I love all that. So let me see what else the angels are saying. So yeah, because this has been a question that's come up. It's like, wait, what do you mean by gem? So I hope now you understand, right? The gem is the lesson. The gem is the medicine. The gem is the gift from that pain. And I understand, right? If there's a gem, why is this so hard, right? If there's a gem, why can't I see it? And the answer is because the pain is loud. The ego is loud, right? The nervous system is loud. The fear is loud. The grief is loud. The trauma is loud. The pain body is loud. But the soul speaks differently. Your soul whispers, softens, invites, reveals. So the gem often can't be accessed while the system is still in full survival mode, right? That's why slow, simple, soft matters. Because you could literally say, oh, hold on. Thank you. Right? Because the pain is louder than the wisdom. The fear is louder than the love. The suffering is louder than the soul's whisper. So when you're inside the grief, the trauma, the heartbreak, the fear, the physical pain, your entire system becomes consumed by survival. And survival is loud, right? The mind races, the body contracts, the pain body takes over. The soul doesn't scream over the chaos. The soul whispers. And that's why we need the alchemy formula. Thank you for reminding me about this, angels. Okay, when we slow down, simplify, and soften, the volume of the pain begins to decrease enough for you to finally access the deeper wisdom underneath that experience. That's when the gem becomes accessible. And so if you're ready to get the gems of your journey, I would love to welcome you into the Angelic Alchemist program. We are closing the founding member doors. So this year I opened up a brand new program. It's called the Angelic Alchemist program. And it is 12 monthly angel healing activations. They're in each workshop. We've had 3 workshops so far, March, April, and May. And there's still time to join us through Friday. The entire year is $222 for this year of transformation. And there is payment options as well. In every single workshop, so my intention is that you leave feeling calm, clear, and confident, and that you leave with a gem. Now, if you don't have the gem from that particular pain or issue you're dealing with right now, you have the formula to receive it, right? Because we're human and things take time. We need to have patience with the process, right? Of receiving those gems. I mean, it took me every gem that I shared here today, from hard, horrible, and hellish, was a process, right? I'm distilling it all into 30 minutes, but it was, there were moments of release and then integration afterward. So in every workshop, there's a wisdom-filled teaching to anchor in the message, the medicine, a simple tool of transformation to add to your angel toolbox, and then an awesome archangel activation to start to connect with something greater than yourself. Start to connect with a higher power. Start to connect with the unconditionally benevolent, loving forces of the universe, right? Because one of the angel messages is stop doing it alone, right? You don't have to do this alone. You have your soul, you have your angels, you have the divine. And then here in the Angelic Alchemist program, you have a sacred community of other earth angels, empaths, who are on this path with you. So you can take heart that there is support, love, community. And there's still several openings in this program. Again, we close the doors on May 22nd. So if you're interested, set up a chat with me so we can have a short chat, 10, 15 minutes to see if this is an alignment for you. And then as soon as the first or full payment is received, you will receive the replays of the other 3 classes that you can watch at your leisure. You're not behind. Don't worry. You're exactly where you're meant to be, because this is all part of your angel library. It's all part of your angel toolbox. And it's so valuable. So I'm going to pull a card from the Guardian Angel deck by Britta Bauman. Oh, I just love this deck so much. I think we used it last time, but I just love it, love it, love it. And we're going to ask about you receiving a gem from your pain this week. How is it that you are receiving a gem, that you have the courage to ask, what lesson am I learning from this pain? What lesson am I learning from this fear? What is the gem inside this pain this week, right? How is it you're going to receive that gem? See what your guardian angels are saying, and then we will be done. You are there. The new world you dream of creating is already manifested on an energetic level. You must act as the version of yourself that already exists there and begin now. Here's what I'm hearing from this about your gem. Like, the gem is already there. You just have to ask for it and then soften a little bit, right? Relax, release, receive. Ask the question. You're already there. This also brings that, right? The whole healed you, the calm, clear, confident you is actually right here, right now. Nothing you ever said or did changes the pure, true essence. So start aligning with your soul's frequency, your soul's intention, your soul's joy, which has been a message all week for me. Right? Welcome the angels of joy, the angels of contentment, the angels of gem revealing. Ooh, I love that. The angels of revealing the gem, right? You are there. So act as the version of yourself. Today, you are your soul. And the gem is already here. So acting as if, right? Glowing from the inside out, which is what I help my clients do. Because what do we need as we go through this collective dark night of the soul, where there's division, violence, fear, war? When we go through the darkness, what do we need? We need our light. So my mission to awaken the calm, clear, confident you is about raising the vibration of the planet, raising the vibration of humanity, right into that 5th dimension of unity consciousness, of unconditional love, of unconditional compassion, of unconditional abundance that's available for you. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I'm going to send this a couple things. I'm going to put the link to The Alchemist. I'm actually going to put the link to, I'll put the link to The Alchemist so you can see the program and see if it's an alignment for you, but I'm also going to put a link to the chat. Okay, so that you can book that chat and we can talk about it, see if it's in alignment for you. And then I'll put the link to the consult. There's nothing to prepare for the free consult, right? Come as you are. The angels and I are going to meet you where you're at and see what, right? Create that roadmap of relief for you. See which one of my programs is the most in alignment for you. How the angels and I can most serve you right where you are. And I'll put that information, all those in the comments. So thank you, Tobias. We'll talk in person. Thank you for asking about the yoga. It's such a wonderful healing modality. It's a big part of my own personal medicine, and it is so, so healing. So, all right. Thank you all so much. I will see you soon. Louise, Cruz, Dendar, Angie, welcome. Thank you, everybody. All right. We'll see you next time. Lots of love.